Hey, so I'm not sure if this is the right spot to share this, but I usually just scroll through other people's drama on here, soaking it all in. Now, though, I've got my own mess to spill because, honestly, what in the world just happened? I need to know if anyone else has had one of those moments where you're like, is this actually happening? Or am I losing it? Please tell me I'm not alone, because I started this night thinking I was just overthinking, but by the end, I was ready to lose it on someone. So here's the deal. I'm Hayley, 27, female, and my boyfriend of almost 2 years, if you can even call him that anymore, is Douglas, 28, male. We've been sharing a place for about 13 months. It wasn't some romantic let's move in together vibe. It was practical. His lease ended, my old apartment was a disaster, so we teamed up. Honestly, I thought it'd be kind of fun, and for a while it was. Then it wasn't. More on that later. So this past weekend, we got invited to a party. It wasn't even our crowd. It was thrown by our landlord's daughter, Claire, who was like, "You guys are chill with rent, come hang out." I'd only met Claire once in person. She's all about group texts for payment reminders, not face-to-face chats. But Douglas was all in, saying it'd be great for networking. Networking for what? No clue. He's always tossing that word around like he's running for mayor or something. I agreed, because I hadn't gone out in forever, and figured there'd at least be free food. If it got boring, I could bounce early. We show up, and it's fancier than I expected. Not mansion level, but real glassware, and a Bluetooth speaker that didn't sound like it was drowning. The vibe was off from the jump, though. Claire's rocking this fancy velvet top, and everyone seems to know each other except us. Douglas is acting like he's auditioning for a reality show, extra touchy, laughing too loud, nudging me to work the room with him. I'm just there for the snacks, so I wander off, chatting with Claire about our lousy shower pressure and the weird hum our dryer makes. Meanwhile, I notice Douglas is already on his second drink while I'm still sipping my first. I tease him about going hard for a Saturday, and he just shrugs, saying he needs to unwind after dealing with my constant complaints. No smile, just that. It stung, but I let it slide because that's his thing. Snarky comments. Lately, though, they've been sharper. I know I can be a bit much about keeping things organised, but if I don't remind him about bills, guess who gets the annoyed text from Claire? Not him. About 30 minutes in, I realise I'm basically trailing him, cleaning up his mess. He's chatting with two guys I vaguely know, and I overhear him say, "Oh, Hayley's super helpful. My place would be a dump without her." But his tone isn't sweet. It's mocking. I try to ignore it, but then he keeps going, saying he never worries about rent because I'm his personal accountant and housekeeper rolled into one. The guys chuckle awkwardly, not sure if it's a joke. I shoot him a look, and he just winks. I head to the kitchen for another drink, now irritated. Here's where it gets uglier. Douglas has this habit of making jokes that are just mean. If I call him out, he's all, "Chill, it's just a joke, why so sensitive?" But it's always about stuff I do for him or mistakes I've made, like the time I accidentally shrunk his favourite hoodie. He brings it up constantly. If I mention his screw-ups, though, it's old news. So the night goes on, and he's getting sloppier, drunker, louder. I'm texting my friend Avery under the table, begging her to distract me before I chuck a chip at his head. By 11 p.m, most people are tipsy, but Douglas is wasted. I try to hand him water. He ignores me and starts performing for the room. Claire sits next to me and quietly asks, "Is he always like this?" I shrug, embarrassed, and mumble something about him having a tough week. Total lie. His week was fine. He just left his laundry in the washer, and now it reeks. That's on him. Then someone brings up living with partners and annoying chores. Douglas sees his moment and stands up, raising his drink like he's giving a speech. He goes, "Want to know what it's like living with Hayley? She's my live-in maid with extra perks. Great at cleaning bathrooms and paying bills, but way too dull for anything fun." He said it, out loud, to everyone. The room goes silent. Claire's face is like, did that just happen? A few of his buddies laugh, but it's that awkward, "please don't involve me" laugh. I stand up, not yelling, just heading for the hallway. Douglas grabs my wrist, not hard, but enough to stop me, and says, "Oh, look, she's running off. Sit down, Hayley, come on." Then he turns to the crowd, waving my purse in the air and says, "She doesn't even have the guts to leave. Pathetic, right?" Some people laugh, not everyone, but enough that my face burns. Claire's staring at the floor. I yank my wrist free, not gently, and stand there, frozen, not wanting to make a bigger scene, but also not about to cry in front of these people. So I sit back down, grab my purse, and clutch it in my lap. For the next hour, I barely move. I'm scrolling my phone, staring at my lock screen, pretending to text. I'm thinking about all the times I've covered for him. Late rent, dishes, excuses to Claire. I feel like an idiot. This is the same guy who used to bring me coffee in bed and say he couldn't do it without me. Now I'm his punchline. A few people check on me, asking if I'm okay. I say I'm fine, just tired. Claire tells me I don't have to stay, but I shake my head. I don't want to make it worse. Douglas is hovering by the door like he's guarding it. At one point, Claire tries to get past him to let her dog out, and he just stands there until she physically pushes him aside. He stumbles, almost drops his phone, and snaps at her for shoving. I'm watching, thinking, okay, it's not just me. He's like this with everyone. My phone keeps buzzing, Avery's checking in, and I tell her I'm fine but will call later. My mum texts, which is weird because she never texts late, asking if I'm visiting tomorrow. I almost reply to have an excuse to leave, but I don't want to start drama in front of everyone. I know if I bolt, Douglas will make a spectacle. By 2 a.m, people are leaving. I grab my coat and head for the door. Douglas is there, arms crossed, staring. I walk past without a word. He mutters something I can't hear, probably more nonsense. I step outside, stand on the porch and breathe. Claire comes out to hand me my charger, which I'd left plugged in. She looks like she wants to say something, but just tells me to text her if the dryer gets worse. I nod, thank her and walk home. It's a 10-minute walk, and I spend it replaying everything. I get to our apartment, go straight to bed, and don't say a word when Douglas stumbles in, slamming the door. He doesn't look at me, just kicks off his shoes and heads to the bathroom. I lie there, scrolling, typing this out so I don't forget. That was my Saturday night. I'm so mad I'm shaking. I don't know what to do next, but I'm not letting this go. If anyone's reading, I'll post a part 2. Sorry if this is messy, I'm still fuming. Alright, I didn't expect to be back so soon, but a lot of you asked for more. And honestly, typing this out is keeping me from losing it. I'm running on 4 hours of sleep and a giant iced coffee that's doing nothing for my nerves. So, here we go. I woke up after that awful party, checked my phone, and it was chaos. 20 missed calls from Douglas's parents, texts from his mum like, please call, are you okay? What's going on with Douglas? Even a missed FaceTime from his sister. I silenced my phone and stared at the ceiling, not ready to deal. Douglas was passed out on the couch, which was weird. He only sleeps there when he's being dramatic. I grabbed some cereal and he mumbled something as I walked by. The kitchen was a disaster. Old Solo cups, a sink full of his dishes, sticky counters from his failed attempt at cocktails last week. It looked like a toddler had a field day. I just stared, thinking, I'm the only one who ever cleans this. I sat with my coffee, trying to figure out my next move. I could leave, tell Claire the rent's on him, pack up and crash at my mum's or Avery's. But honestly, I wanted him to feel the consequences. I wanted him to see how much I've been carrying. After last night, I wasn't in the mood to play nice. So I started a list in my notes app. Every bill I've paid, every time I covered his rent, every cleaning supply, every grocery run, every little thing he forgot. The list was long. I found Venmo receipts from last year when I paid his share of the internet for months. He never paid me back, just kept saying, I'll get it next time. The more I listed, the angrier I got. I started taking pictures of my stuff around the apartment. The couch, mine. The TV, mine. Plates, silverware, microwave, sheets, all mine. His. An ugly lamp from his parents and a broken kettle he swears he'll fix. I started planning what I could take without a moving truck. I texted Avery to borrow her car next weekend. She sent a middle finger emoji and say less. I ignored Douglas all morning. He shuffled into the kitchen around noon, looking rough, chugging water and rubbing his head like he was dying. I kept scrolling my phone, not even pretending to care. He tried small talk, saying he didn't remember much from last night. I said, you said enough. He got defensive, like, come on, I was joking, everyone does that. I just stared, silent. He got annoyed and went back to the couch. My mum called, asking if I was coming to dinner. She could tell something was up, but I said I wasn't feeling great and would text later. She asked if Douglas was coming, and I laughed. She didn't push, just said to call if I needed her. I should have told her everything, but I didn't want the "we told you so" lecture. Douglas spent the afternoon on TikTok texting his friends. I overheard him laughing, then going quiet. I peeked. He was in a group chat with Carson and Andrew, his college buddies, talking about how awkward the party was. Someone said Claire was mad. Douglas said, she'll get over it. I saved a screenshot, just in case. By 5 p.m, I started packing. Small stuff like chargers, makeup, my favourite hoodie, headphones, books, laptop. I stashed it in my car. He didn't ask where I was going, just told me to grab chips if I hit the store. I slammed the door. I drove to Avery's, dropped off my bag, and she handed me a soda and played some music. I almost cried, but held it together. Back home, Douglas was on Xbox, yelling at some kid online. I started sorting the closet. Half the clothes are mine, but his are always in a pile on the floor. I packed my stuff into a laundry bag. He walked in, asked what I was doing. I said, laundry. He shrugged and went back to his game. I made dinner for myself. He asked where his was. I told him to make his own. He pouted like a kid. I walked past him to my room. I texted Claire, asking if she was okay after the party. She said she was embarrassed for everyone and apologised for Douglas's behaviour. I asked if her dad would let him stay if I moved out. She said, "You're not on the lease, right?" "Just him." I confirmed. When we moved in, he handled the paperwork and kept my name off, saying it was easier. She said, "Then he's on the hook for rent." I felt a little better. She sent a thumbs-up emoji. The next morning, I kept moving my stuff. Douglas barely noticed, too busy arguing about fantasy football and complaining about the Wi-Fi. I unplugged my things. Router, coffee maker, knives, blender, pillows, air fryer. I left his junk, old laptop, gaming chair, random wires. I texted Avery to help with the bigger stuff. She showed up around 2 p.m. and we loaded her car. Douglas asked what we were doing. I said, "Moving things." He nodded and went inside. I left the essentials, bed, dresser, bathroom stuff, planning to grab them when he was at the gym. He goes every Tuesday at 6 p.m, always posting a sweaty selfie. I texted Claire I'd be out by the weekend and would leave my keys in the mailbox. Douglas acted like everything was normal, asking if I wanted to watch a movie. I said no. He pouted again. He complained about the empty kitchen and I told him to go to the store. He said, "Why are you acting like this?" I said, "You know why." He rolled his eyes and walked off. I locked myself in the bathroom for 20 minutes. My mum called. I told her I was moving out. She wasn't surprised, just asked if I needed help. I said Avery had it covered but might need her later. She said, "Let me know." The next day, Douglas left for the gym. I texted Avery and we grabbed the rest, bed, dresser, everything. I left a note on the counter listing everything he owes me, rent, bills, groceries, supplies, with a line, "Your turn to pay. Don't forget the toilets." I dropped my keys in the mailbox and took one last look. The place looked empty, messy, sad. I felt a twinge of guilt, then remembered him waving my purse, calling me pathetic. I walked out. At Avery's, we watched YouTube and drank soda. My mum texted that she was proud. I didn't reply right away, just needed space. Later, Douglas blew up my phone. Angry text saying I blindsided him. "I'm selfish. He can't handle the bills." I didn't reply. He called repeatedly. I blocked him, his mum, his sister, Andrew and Carson just in case. I texted Claire I was out. She thanked me and said Douglas hadn't paid rent. I said, "Good luck." That's where I'm at. I'm done. I left him with his mess, literal and figurative. He wanted to be the big shot. Now he gets to figure it out. If he tries anything else, I'm ready to push back. For now, he can stew. Maybe he'll finally see who's actually pathetic. I'll update if anything wild happens. I have a feeling this isn't over. Okay, I didn't plan to post again so soon, but you guys keep asking for updates, and things got crazier than I thought. I need to vent too, because if I keep ranting to my group chat, Avery's going to show up with a bat and a bottle, and I don't know who she'd swing at first, me or Douglas. So right after I moved out, I figured he'd just badmouth me to his friends and move on. Nope. He went full soap opera. I'm barely out of Avery's car when he starts texting. Angry, all caps messages saying I set him up, ruined his life, and his parents think I'm missing because they're blowing up his phone. Like, maybe don't humiliate me in front of a crowd, and we wouldn't be here. I ignored it all. Avery told me to block him again, and I did, but he started using random numbers, DMing me on Instagram, even Facebook, which I haven't touched in a year. I left everything unread. He's probably hoping I'll cave just to make him stop. Not happening. What I didn't see coming was how fast his money issues caught up. Claire texted me 2 days later, asking if I knew when he'd pay rent. I sent her a screenshot of his "I'll get it next time" text and said, "Not my problem anymore." She replied with laughing emojis and a "yikes." Apparently he told her I'd cover him, which is laughable since I'd already told her I was gone. He really thought I'd keep bailing him out from afar. Then the group chat got wild. We've got this shared chat with his friends, Andrew, Carson, Gabriella, and some of their partners, for memes, party plans, and takeout debates. I'd been quiet forever, but I decided if he's painting me as the villain, I'm not staying silent. I sent a calm message with receipts, rent payments, bills I covered, his made with benefits joke, and his text about having me trained. I said I wasn't starting a fight, just setting the record straight. The chat exploded. 2 guys defended Douglas, saying he was drunk and didn't mean it. Gabriella said she always thought he treated me poorly and was glad I left. Andrew called me dramatic, so I sent the note I left him, listing everything he owes me. Silence for an hour. Carson messaged me privately, checking if I was okay and offering to help move stuff. I said I was good but appreciated it. He said Douglas was struggling. I didn't respond. Claire told me her dad got involved because Douglas missed rent for the first time and tried to blame me. Her dad wasn't buying it. My name's not on the lease. He told Douglas he had a week to pay or he's out. I could imagine Douglas trying to charm his way out, but it wasn't working. I'm trying to move on. I'm crashing at Avery's, joking about invoicing Douglas for maid services. My mum calls daily, offering groceries or a place to stay. I went to her place for dinner and she made lasagna without a single "I told you so," which is basically her love language. Douglas texted Avery, asking her to talk sense into me. She sent her "don't text me again" and blocked him. He tried Carson, who ignored him. Andrew called me, leaving a long voicemail about Douglas being in a bad spot and everyone makes mistakes. I deleted it. I'm not here to fix him. The pressure's working. People aren't buying his victim act. Claire said her dad's done and ready to show the apartment if Douglas doesn't pay by Friday. Carson said Douglas is begging everyone for money, but no one's lending because he never pays back. Even Andrew's hesitant. Gabriella apologized for not noticing his behavior sooner. I said it was fine. I'm good now. Douglas's mom texted from a new number asking me to help him just this once because he's struggling. I replied, "I'm not his maid." She didn't respond. I went back to the apartment with Claire to grab my last things, a box of books and my blender. Douglas was there, trying to argue, saying I ruined his life and didn't need to air it publicly. I said, "You did that yourself." He blocked the hallway, so I pushed past. He slammed his door. Claire rolled her eyes and said, "He's not your problem anymore." I left, feeling like I finally saw his entitlement for what it was. He thought I'd always cover for him, clean up, pay his bills, and laugh off his insults. When he got called out, he tried to make me the bad guy. Now he's stuck, and it's backfiring. His parents, who used to bug me about his grandma's birthday or his insurance card, are realizing I'm not their fix-it person. I'll update if anything else happens, but for now, he's dealing with his own mess. If you're the Hayley in your relationship, don't wait. Pack your bags and go. Your sanity's worth it. This is probably my last update unless something insane happens. I'm drained and need to focus on my own life. Thanks for all the support, DMS, comments, everything. It's weirdly nice to have strangers rooting for me. So after my last post, I was waiting to see if Douglas would pay rent or get evicted. I figured he'd try one last desperate move, and I wasn't wrong. But first, the weirdest part, his parents. The morning after I left, I still had those 20 missed calls from his mom, dad, and sister. I ignored them, but they left voicemails, his mom panicking, saying Douglas hasn't eaten, can't sleep, and is not himself. I listened to half of one, rolled my eyes, and deleted it. I'm not heartless, but I'm not his babysitter anymore. Then his mum started texting my mum, using a number from some holiday meetup. My mum called, confused, saying Douglas's mum claimed he can't pay rent and needs me to talk sense into him. I told her I'm done and to stop answering. She just asked if I needed groceries. Douglas kept calling, switching between rage and apologies. One minute, I ruined his life. The next, he's begging me to come back, promising to change. I blocked every number. He tried FaceTime, new numbers, everything. It was like a game of whack-a-mole. Avery joked I should charge him per call. Claire texted that her dad gave Douglas an official notice. Pay by Friday or he's out. Douglas tried saying I sabotaged him, but her dad said, "Not my business, pay or leave." Douglas leaned on everyone else. Carson said he asked for a loan, claiming I stole his stuff. Nope, I took only my things, with receipts. Gabriella said he asked her to vouch for his payment history. She sent a laughing gif. Andrew stayed out of it, saying he hates drama. By Thursday, Claire said Douglas was in full panic. He's behind on rent, internet, probably his random subscriptions. I still get emails about his meal kit service, not my issue. He called Claire's dad, then his mum, who called me again. I picked up, annoyed, and she begged me to help because he's lost without me. I said, "Talk to your son, not me," and hung up as she started crying. I think Douglas gets away with this because everyone's always bailed him out. His parents coddle him, his friends laugh it off or ignore it, and I was the latest to pick up the pieces. He gets loud when embarrassed, jokes when nervous, and expects someone to fix it. I knew he was lazy, but I didn't realize how much he relied on others until I stopped. Friday came, and I was at my new place, a tiny apartment but mine, eating noodles. Claire texted a thumbs up. He's out. Douglas didn't pay, left half his stuff, and Claire's dad changed the locks. He said Douglas could grab his things later, but he's done. Claire said he cried, slammed the door, and left. I almost felt bad, then remembered the party. Nope. Then he showed up at my place, knocking with a grocery bag in hand, hoodie up. I didn't open the door. I texted Avery, who lives nearby, and she stared him down from the sidewalk until he left without a word. She texted, "Dude's lost." Later, I got a handwritten letter from him, apologies, excuses, begging for another chance, saying he'll pay me back if I return. I ripped it up. He's couch surfing at Andrew's, but Andrew's already annoyed. Carson said Douglas might move back with his parents. Claire's family is cleaning the apartment for new tenants. His parents called my mum again. She's ignoring them. Gabriella said she's glad I'm out. I'm done. He thought he was the main character, but now he's learning to do his own laundry, or at least pay his rent. If you're stuck cleaning up for someone who treats you like help, don't wait for a wake-up call. Pack up. The trash takes itself out. I'm out for now. Maybe my next post will be about something fun. Peace. Please like and subscribe my channel.